Hello everyone, and welcome to our uncrating and inventory video for our wing kit. There's a couple things I'm going to recommend that you have on hand before you get started. Shears to cut through the metal ties around the crate. A crowbar and hammer to pry off the lid. Scissors to help cut through the different ties, plastic, and tape that's helping to secure everything inside of the box. Pliers to help pull out any loose nails or screws to make sure you don't hurt yourself. Trash bags to help get rid of all of the packing paper you're going to pull out of the crate. And a pen to keep track of your inventory. The first thing that you should see when you open up the crates is the inventory packet and the packing list. And it's very important to find those, pull them out, and check them because, for example, on this one, it said, to please make sure to read these particular instructions before unboxing the wing kit. And so that's just the kind of stuff you want to make sure to find those and be aware of whatever instructions Vance has given you. In this one, it was just explaining how with different models of the plane, they include the longerons with the wing kit because it's easier to ship those components with your wing kit versus with the fuselage kit. Just different little instructions like that. Again, take the time, make sure to go and read it and go through everything before getting started. I'd also make sure before you do your unboxing that you have plenty of space, not only for you to pull everything out and set it aside so you can do the inventory, but remember that you're gonna have to do something with that crate once it's empty, and you're gonna have all these pieces and this trash everywhere. So much like with everything with this build, more space is always better than less. So just make sure that you have enough space to comfortably go through everything and put it away when you're done. Wait for it, the magic continues.
Good painting surface. This is a fantastic painting surface.
Ta-da! And Tyler's right. Stuff like this is, the wood in of itself is great because you can use it to make tables, but the stuff like this cardboard is really nice for when you have to lay everything out to prime it. So if you have a place to just tuck this away in the garage, do it. Now there's a lot of duct tape that's used also to help secure all of the different skins so that they do not move or get damaged at all during the shipping. I like to try to cut that duct tape to help keep all of the vinyl or as much of the vinyl on the skins, protecting them as possible, but make sure that you're very careful when you're using the scissors because again, you don't want to accidentally go and scrape the tip of the scissors along the skin. So just be gentle, take your time, and but it's pretty easy then to be able to help cut those apart and cut them off of the cardboard. So the way that we like to do everything is to go through and pull out all the stuffing, shake it out, pull all of the pieces out of the one box, spread them out and set them aside, and then go and do the inventory once everything is all out. And so Tyler will go through and check all of the labels, and I will sit there with the inventory sheet and start marking it off to make sure that we've got everything and do it all at once instead of unpacking one piece and trying to check it on the inventory. Instead of going one at a time, it seems to be easier to do it all at once. Another thing that we found that really helps us is that when we are doing the inventory, we don't just check the items off of the list. We use a set of industrial shelves that we got at Costco to organize everything once we get it out of the crates, and we've implemented a little numbering system for each of the shelves, and when we remove everything after it's been inventoried and go put it to store it, we make sure to mark down on the inventory sheet what shelf we put each piece on. This makes it a lot easier when you're going through the instructions and you're trying to go and find a particular piece that's called for. Instead of having to go and dig through everything and get very frustrated, it helps a lot to know exactly where to look for each of the different skins or spars or sub kits, and to be able to go straight to a particular shelf and know that it's there. We also there's some great cardboard that they use in between different layers of materials that they've got packed into the different crates, and we found those to be really great to put down on top of the shelves before we put any of the
skins or other materials on top, just because it's a little extra bit of protection to make sure that the skins and everything don't get scratched on that surface of those heavy duty shelves. Again, it's something nice and it's smooth and it's really thick, so it works well and it holds up well. For the smaller items, like when we come across smaller hinges, smaller pieces of aluminum where it's not a huge skin and it's not like a set of ribs that are all wrapped together, I bought these little plastic bins at Hobby Lobby that were really inexpensive, and they come in a couple different sizes, and I use those. I'm sure you've seen them in the other videos. We use them to put the little scrap bits of wood in. We use them to help organize things as we're building, and they just work really great to help organize some of the smaller parts, the smaller groups of sub-kits, and have a place then that we can keep all of them organized and just set that little basket there on the shelf. And then what I will do is, if there's an entire sub-kit of smaller components, then on the inventory I will make sure to indicate that that entire sub-kit is in a bin on whichever shelf, shelf 4 or whatever at the bottom. And again, then you know that all those little pieces are kept together, and it just helps to not have little bits floating around and worry about, did they fall off the shelf, did they get separated one from another. So
Perfect, ready? Beep, beep, beep. Good job. Nice job, tie-tie.
It's like I saw it in a video.
one of the great things with the crates is that this is really nice wood, and I actually used some parts from our first crate with the tail cone to help make the workbench that we use. So I would just recommend keeping it if you can. Break it down. It's good, thick, solid wood. You can use it for shelves, or it's kind of cool with the ones on the side how they actually have the Vans Aircraft logo on them. I've definitely saved those. I haven't used those for anything like with the table, but I feel like there's something cool that I could do with that in the future. Maybe make like a sign or something to hang in the garage or inside. But I don't know, it's just kind of neat, right? To have like a piece of your box that you've got all the parts for your plane in. So whenever I figure out what I'm going to do with it, I'll definitely let you guys know. But I've definitely kept those for now because I think it would be something cool to do with that. So when you're looking at the inventory list, what you're going to have is it's going to have two columns on the left. One is where they have checked off as they packed everything, indicating that they have put it into the crate. The second column that is all left blank, and that's where you would go and check off that you have in fact found that item when you've been unboxing. That's where we'll write on there which shelf that we're putting everything on. And it will have a ID number for the different parts. So it will say, for example, bag 1101, or it will say, part VA 315, something along those lines, where that will be what then is on the sticker that's on that particular piece, or what might be written on the wrapping around that particular piece to help you identify it. And when you get to even kits like the different boxes, where they might have smaller parts, for example, I think for like the trim, you would want to make sure to go in there and check to make sure you have each of the the little components that's supposed to be inside of that. And here's a great reason why, is because we had a problem actually with this shipment, where there's a big bag that is supposed to contain all of the hardware, the nuts, the bolts, the rivets, etc., that you're going to need to use for the kit. And ours was wrapped up in a nice little bag and it had a label on there that said wing kit hardware. And we could have just said, oh, okay, and trusted it, but no, I mean, they tell you even to go through everything and make sure to check, and there's a reason why. Because when we opened it, the bag had all of the rivets and parts that were actually for the tail cone empennage kit, not the wing kit. So it had very clearly been bagged properly for the tail cone, and then it had just been mislabeled at the end. So that there ended up only being 2 bags of rivets that matched for both the empennage kit and the wing kit. So work that out with Vans. We're gonna ship these back and they're gonna ship us the right ones. But I mean, mistakes like that do happen, which is why it is important for you to go through all the little stuff. We also had another mistake with this one where we were supposed to have 6-foot J channels and 8-foot J channels, and somehow it got mixed up when it was packed, and instead of having the 6-foot J channels and 6 8-foot J channels, we ended up with 12 6-foot J channels. You know, again, this is why it's important to go and check everything. So, and again, I was able to call Vans. I explained everything to them. We've worked it out where I'm going to be able to return these, the extra 6-foot ones that we don't need to them, and then they're going to mail us the proper 8-foot ones that we needed. So they're really great if you do ever come across a problem. Now, and again, this was kind of weird. When our tail cone and emp kit came in, we didn't have huge problems. We had stuff like, I think we were supposed to have like 10 washers of one particular size, and we counted it, we had 9. Just little things like that was what the problems were that we had with the tail cone emp kit. So this was really strange, these problems that we had here with the wing kit. That wasn't, you know, what we'd experienced with the first package.
So we finished earlier than we thought because we have none of the bolts and the rivets because it was the wrong stuff. It was in a bag marked for the wings, but all the bags inside were duplicates from what we had for the emp tail cone kit. So we'll be calling Vans tomorrow to get it figured out. And we're missing some J channels. Those got replaced with 6-foot ones instead of 8-foot ones. So, but that's why you inventory, to figure this stuff out. So don't dawdle and say, oh, whatever. Things happen, mistakes happen.
And here is what our storage racks look like now that we're done with the inventory. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And leave me a comment below if you have any ideas for something really cool I could do with the parts of the crate with the Vans Aircraft logo.